agent lying about their thing, like that's the low of the low in my opinion, right? Like if you have to lie about your reviews or, oh, I have X amount of views on there and reviews and they're all fake or half of them are fake. That is just scum in my opinion.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Shawn and Matt Show. My name is Matt, that is Shawn, and welcome to our show. Shawn, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about the June 2025 real estate market, AI reviews, and if you're anti-HOA, there's a new business out there, a new company that may help you get over some of the burdens that come with living in an HOA. Shawn, Wednesday, July 23rd, how is the Wednesday, July 23rd real estate market treating you?
I think it's pretty good. There's a lot of speculation in the markets, and we'll look at numbers in a little bit. But, I have agents talking to me about, what do you feel the market is? It's slow for me. It's okay for me. What we all have to realize is this is July. We are in the middle of July, and this is typically one of your slowest months of the year because everybody's gone, including myself. I'm gone.
Real estate agents are gone too.
Yeah, we're all gone. We're all trying to go and have a good time and have vacation. And so naturally the market slows down at this time. So you're not going to see the amount of showings that you're used to. You're not going to see the activity that you're used to as in a listing. It's a good time to buy if you can get in there. Prime example, I just put a Windsor Plaza place it's a condo in Arlington, under contract yesterday. And I had so many showings on this thing but no one was committing. And I had somebody circling it for a long time. And then finally I got an offer, ratified it, and then I had an agent reach out to me. You ratified that today? What happened? Tell me, and I'm like, well, it was there for 26 days, it's...
Without saying the other agent's name, was it a woman?
Yes.
And did her first name start with an N?
No.
Okay, never mind.
Okay.
Ignore.
Okay.
But how many showings did you have on that?
I had, over that time frame, probably 14 to 18 agent showings, which is pretty good over 20
Usually
days.
You would get an offer at that point.
And I had an offer first weekend, and it was over the July 4th weekend, and the time frames were just really long, and we're like, no thanks. Ended up not working out. And then, again, if you make it look good and it shows well and it's priced right, it's going to sell. And then now it's under contract.
So you said there's a lot of speculation in the market. That's how you open up your monologue.
Yeah.
What is the speculation in the market?
Well, I'm hearing from some other agents that, my single family listing isn't going under contract or it's taking a little longer. And that's what you should expect in July. That's typical. We will see this jump of...
there's also 50% more single family house inventory in Arlington.
Yeah, there's more inventory. So naturally, if you're not making it look great, it's not in a great location, these things hurt, and they're going to hurt worse in July and August.
Days on market are going to creep up there. I think the days on market increased to, I'll have to pull up the numbers, but increase 20% or so. And when you have 50% more competition, naturally you're going to have, more of a balance, more of a struggle compared to selling it on the first weekend.
Yeah, and August is going to be much of the same. It's going to be slow. If you're listing in August, I tell my clients, listen, it's still a good time. I really believe that our market is good. I've seen the really bad and I've seen the really good, and this is still fine. It's not like, we're scrambling. And, you look at some of the real estate articles out there nationwide and people are like, oh, the inventory's stacking up and it's scary out there. And it's not in our area. It's really not scary. It's fine. Just keep your cool. Once we hit that spring or that fall market, I think we're going to see a little bit more activity. We will see an uptick of activity. But these are the 2 months of the year that, the weather's hot, everybody's out. And if you look at the streets of Arlington,
empty.
It's empty. Of course it is. And as soon as September hits, it's going to be packed again and people are back.
So what is your narrative for the homeowners that are selling in late July and in August?
Make it look great, price it right, and be patient. They will come. Offers are coming. I'm still selling them. It might take 25 days, but I really believe that most of these are going to sell.
How do you determine between be patient versus we need to drop the price?
I would say you're listening to your agent feedback. If you
Agent feedback. I mean, agents don't leave feedback.
No, but I talk to a lot of people.
Did you show one of my listings recently?
Yeah, I did.
Actually,
I did.
you know what? I take it back. That was targeted. Shawn did call me and explain the feedback.
Yes.
So the feedback form wasn't filled out. I don't care because he called me.
Yes.
Sorry.
Exactly.
Sorry about that.
No problem. But yeah, agent feedback it's not easy, but you can get a sense of what people are thinking, or if you talk to them, they'll call you, they'll give you a sense of what they're thinking. So it's not like I'm getting the agent feedback in, the form. Mm-hmm. It's more talking to the people that have come through. And, I think all in all, everything's going to be fine. We just have to be patient. It might take 25 days. It might take 35 days. If it's, a $1-point-something million house or a $2-point-something million house, naturally it's going to take a little longer. We got our McLean house under contract. It settles July 31st. That was 2.9 million, basically. And you think, all right, that's going to take a long time to sell. It only took 45 days, somewhere around there, in this, creeping into that summer market. So again, just be patient, know your market, and know your numbers, and price it right. And people will come and make it show great. Like that's the thing is I'm taking over a listing right now, and they couldn't sell it. My client was like, "What do you think?" And I walk in, I'm like, "Wow, it looks really drab in here." My honest opinion, I was like, "Listen, I'm going to be honest with you. The floors, look how dirty they are. There's no staging. The lighting is horrible. It's all different colors. It's these little details matter. And so I'm going to be listing it this week, and go on there and look at the differences of photos. You'll see it.
All right, well, let's move on to our next topic. This comes to us from the New York Post. Okay. Fake AI reviews of real estate agents are taking over Zillow, new study warns. So a new study from the content authenticity platform Originality.ai reveals an allegedly startling trend on Zillow. Nearly 1 in 4 real estate agent reviews in 2025 were likely written by artificial intelligence. That marks a 558% increase in AI-generated reviews since 2019. So apparently this tool analyzed more than 10,000 agent reviews using its detection tool, and it concluded that 23.7% of 2025 Zillow agent reviews were likely authored by AI, compared with just 3.63% in 2019. Now, Shawn, I have a few different questions on this, but what are your thoughts on almost 1 in 4 reviews on Zillow being written by AI?
Oh, it drives me crazy. It's horrible. I didn't even think about it, right? Like, I like when I get a review and it says a great thing about the transaction and how the people felt, and I take that to heart, and I'm like, man, this feels good. It makes you feel good. Now, an agent lying about their thing, that's the low of the low, in my opinion, right? Like, if you have to lie about your reviews, or, I have X amount of views on there and reviews, and they're all fake, or half of them are fake. That is just scum, in my opinion, right? Like, yeah. But I always thought like Zillow reviews had to be people signing in and doing the review, and that's why it's a little harder to get those Zillow reviews.
Wasn't there an agent in our area that had more Zillow reviews than they had houses sold at one point?
Yeah. Well, that's the other.
They won Rookie of the Year, and they had more reviews than they did houses sold.
That's another thing the agents do is like, hey, everybody in your family, can they give me a review? Or it's just when there's a transaction, have one person review your transaction. And that's the way it should be. And it's hard to get client reviews. I have great transactions. I have clients like, I'm going to write you a great review, and then it doesn't happen sometimes, because people they don't want to really write a review. You got to get them like the day of the transaction. Hey, write me a quick review real quick. Otherwise you wait, it's gone. You're out of mind and, out of thought.
I asked a client for a review on Friday of Memorial Day weekend. That was a mistake.
Yeah.
They never responded to me.
Yeah.
But Shawn, are you thinking that these are actual people who are just loading up ChatGPT and saying, write a review for my real estate agent of a house I bought in Arlington? Or do you think this is like more nefarious review farming sort of situation?
That's a good question. My instant thought would be that it is agents saying, I need some reviews on there. I'll just go to ChatGPT, or it could be new agents.
Because I went to Fiverr, and there was a time when you could buy reviews on Fiverr. You could buy Google reviews. You could buy YouTube reviews if YouTube even has reviews. You could buy reviews on.
Yeah.
You can no longer buy reviews on Fiverr. I'm sure if you did an ounce of research, you could find a Telegram group. You could find insert whatever gig work group and find some forum to give you like 50 new reviews. But this seemed to me like lazy home buyers and home sellers just plugging away at ChatGPT.
Oh, you think the home buyers are saying, listen, can you just write me a review for this, my agent? And then the agent's taking them. That's interesting. I didn't think of that.
Because usually, I mean, you can spot like a fake review and you can spot like a ChatGPT review. Like you go to Yelp and you see the person, by the way, it's not 2011. You know, most people aren't going to Yelp. But you can see, and of course, Yelp hides the reviews that people actually make unless you pay for them. I know Shawn knows all about that.
Yep.
But it's like when someone only has one review and their name is like the same last initial as like the business owner's name.
Yeah.
And all right, it's pretty obvious that there's like some shenanigans going on. But, you know, this to me struck me more as just, lazy consumer behavior.
That's so funny because I never thought of that. I thought more the agent that needed the reviews and was going to pump himself up and trying to get as many reviews as possible would just go in there and then write me another review, and then
I mean, it could be. I'm just speculating.
But
here.
That's a good point. You know, you get the homeowners that have just gone through a transaction. They're tired. They're like, all right, I don't feel like writing a review. Let me just go to ChatGPT. Hey, write me a quick review about this, blah, 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 and spit it out. That is something that, how do you detect that? Who is doing that? And that's why I was saying that Zillow, I thought that you needed a login to actually post a review. And so that makes more sense that it could be the homeowners actually doing it, because that's why it's harder to get reviews on Zillow, because you actually need a Zillow account to do so.
John Gillum, CEO of Originality, said, Zillow isn't alone. From Airbnb to Google to LinkedIn, AI-generated content is rising across all platforms. What sets Zillow apart is the direct impact on life-altering decisions like buying a home. By the way, nice little advertorial piece here for Originality.ai. It just goes to show that AI is entering our daily life if it hasn't already, and it's certainly going to infiltrate online reviews. Because most people don't like writing online reviews. It's usually the agent strongly encouraging them to write an online review. So if they can turn their brain off, and it's going to be the death of our society is the lack of critical thinking. But if they can turn their brain off, punch it into ChatGPT and copy paste that over to Zillow, I think they're going to do that.
Yeah, they probably will. It's a good point.
All right, let's move on to our final topic. This comes to us from Real Estate News. Buyers wary of surprise HOA costs now have a safety net. Okay, so HOA Warranty, a growing startup, aims to keep sales on track by offering protection against unexpected special assessments in buildings with low HOAs. Low HOA reserves. So, Shawn, imagine you're trying to purchase a property. It's in a HOA, love them or hate them, hate them or hate them. It's in an HOA, and you look at that darn reserve study, and they are depleted. They are running on empty, running on fumes. And that's how one of the stories goes in this agent. There was only $2,000 in reserves. It gives people pause, says Tori Gwynn of a Chicago real estate brokerage. So what this company does is they come up with a warranty program. One of the warranty options is a 3-year warranty for $800 that protects you against unexpected special assessments up to $10,000. And so, you have all sorts of concerns about your property, but then of course you have concerns about the HOA. Now here's an opportunity to have an extra layer of coverage when it comes to building management, unexpected leaks or roofs or any sort of, building maintenance that, that could cost you a significant amount of money. Shawn, what are your thoughts on this up and coming startup?
Super smart, super unique opportunity here. This is a very good niche market to go into. And, you have your HOA, you have your warranty companies out there. And I'm assuming this is just a throw off of one of the warranty companies saying, hey, what if we did it this way? It's a really great idea, because one of the biggest things or fears or questions I get when selling a condo are there any special assessments? Do you know of any special assessments coming up? And naturally, if there's a special assessment there, we have to disclose it, and it's going to be there, right? If we know of anything, we have to disclose it. But and if they've talked about it, it's going to be in their documentation that in the state of Virginia, you have a 3-day right of rescission. It's not statutory anymore. You can negotiate that. But typically, it's a 3-day right of rescission to review the condo disclosures or the HOA disclosures. And so a lot of times the meeting minutes will show if they're talking about a special assessment. Now, the problem is that those meeting minutes are usually 3 months behind. So you're not getting the most current talks. So the biggest question is there going to be a special assessment? I don't want to be hit with this special assessment. So by spending $800 for 3 years, or getting the seller to pay for that in the negotiation. Say, hey, seller will buy a HOA this warranty policy for $800. That's a great negotiating tool, and then it covers you for 3 years just in case something like that does come up. I think it's an awesome thought.
You say it's a niche product. In the article, as of 2024, there were 369,000 community associations in the U.S. that represented nearly 29 million housing units. The U.S. Census Bureau indicates that 67% of newly constructed single-family homes are in HOAs. So I guess it's a niche market. It's a large niche market. There's a considerable amount of properties. It's not just condos. It's not just townhouses. There are, single-family neighborhoods that are in HOAs that could, benefit from this. And maybe it's not like the large, the villages in Florida, right, or, insert, 5,000, home communities. It's more of the, 1920s condos, or like the 6-unit building that just doesn't have the reserves. But either way, it could be a good opportunity. Right now, it's available in 6 states with more on the way, including Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, North Carolina, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. What I don't see is Florida. I'm not seeing Florida on this list.
Yeah, I'd stay away from Florida.
Can you imagine how many people in Florida are reading this article and saying, all right, I got to sign up. I got to, it's like, it reminds me of the episode of The Simpsons where Homer's trying to get health insurance, and he gives the document over to the doctor. And the doctor says, the insurance rep says, it looks like under heart attacks, you wrote 3 and then crossed it out and wrote 0. So he's trying to so hard to get coverage. This seems like a situation with HOA warranty where how do you know that it wasn't already a pre-existing condition? Yeah. So what happens when you do, file a claim? I guess HOA warranty is going to look through every single sentence of the 600 pages in the HOA packet to see if there was any sort of meeting minutes even mentioning the roof, or even mentioning the drainage, or even mentioning any sort of special assessment. And if there is any mention of that, I mean, I would have to imagine you're out of luck. So I'd be very curious. I wouldn't want to sign up for this. Maybe I would, because it's only $800.
Yeah, I was thinking it was a monthly cost.
I guess I wouldn't want to be the first person to file a claim. I'd want to hear about others who have successfully filed a claim for up to $10,000.
Yeah, a couple points. Number one, this is an insurance company, so read that document very well, because they're going to find ways out of pretty much everything so that they are limiting their liability. They're in business to make a profit. And so, you have to look and see what is covered, how it's covered, how do you get that money, and is it worth the $800? So keep that in mind. Number two, the main thing here is low reserves. If your HOA has a $2,000 reserve, there's a bigger problem going on there, and you're not doing the things. Your condo or HOA is not doing the right thing. They should be increasing your fee per month to build that reserve. And there's condo buildings here with $700,000 in reserves. There's one with $6 million in reserves. That's where you want to buy. You should have at least $1 million in an account to cover these things if you're a high-rise or mid-rise condo in the area. But the main thing here is that you're selling fear, and fear sells, right? I mean,
fear does sell.
And that's the main thing is, and $800, you're like, $800, it's just like title insurance. $1,500, $2,000, $4,000 for the rest of my life? Okay, yeah, I'll just pay it. I'll pay it because this is a stressful situation. Home buying is stressful, and I'll just pay it and live mind free for 3 years.
The coverage options are 1 to 3 year policies that range in cost from $380 to $800. Shawn, I was showing a condo in Falls Church, the Falls Church neighborhood of Fairfax, and large community, almost 1,000 units in the community. We averaged we were doing some napkin math in the elevator ride up to the 25th floor. Average HOA fees around $500, $600 a month. So that means they're bringing in $500,000 just in HOA fees every single month. Now, buildings from 1972, so I'd imagine you got many, many expenses going on. But can you imagine the capital that you're bringing in and you're churning through when you got $500,000 coming through the bank account every single month?
Yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts. And if you're not managing, and think about this, who is managing that money? You have management companies. There's plenty of management companies out there, but you also have a board. And that board is made up of just people that might not know anything about running a condo. And I run into this all the time. It's like, hey, do you want to run for this board? No, I don't want to be. That's a lot of work. It's a lot of work that people have to put in. And so, you have to be careful on it. And, when you're hiring a board or getting the board, get the right people in there. And number two, the management companies, they're not that great. You try to call a management company and you're like, next 48 hours, I'll call you back in 48 hours. Like, you want a management company that's going to call you back and answer you and get the documentation quickly.
It's like 48 business hours, which is like next week.
Yeah, like we're running on contingencies here. I need you to get me this information. So,
at my condo, it's like voting season for the new board members. And so on the TV that like usually shows the packages, they have the 4 board members split screen, like, 007. It's like, 4 different ones. And they have each person's resume up there. You got to stand like an inch away from the TV just to like read, oh, you have a JD from, George Mason from 1972. Yeah. Like, okay. Yeah. I guess your degree from 45 years ago is relevant here. But the article goes on to say that associations there's about 70% of HOAs lack sufficient reserves. So the fact that there's a potential reprieve for people that are a little bit wary about HOAs is pretty cool. So we'll definitely kind of keep track of this story.
Yeah, and the thing is, HOA fees just continue to go up because of inflation and costs of everything else. And so, I'm talking to agents all the time. They're like, wow, your condo fee is X. I'm like, yeah, well, look at all the other condos around here, and you're going to see the same thing. They all have risen. And, it's painful when your condo fees rise, and then it's painful more when you have to put money away for certain things. But to do that, my recommendation on this is, my wife is really good at this stuff, right? She will take money and, I send her money, right? And she pays all the bills. But what she also does is collects for like fun things, right? She'll have a separate account for our vacation account or a separate account for this. So why don't you do a separate fund for the what ifs that come up in your condo or home or HOA, whatever it is? That could be a special assessment coverage. That could be budgeting for your HVAC systems, your water heaters. You should always be doing that blindly, because you're not going to notice it when it goes $100 a month. You're going to notice it when it's 4, 5, 10 grand. And so when you have that money set aside, just do it. It's so much easier. I'm bad at setting the money aside. My wife's really good, so that's why I rely on her to do it. But man, when it comes up and you're like, oh, I've already paid my taxes this year?
Yeah.
Because you collected for it? Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah. So what should an HOA fee be? I mean, obviously for like townhouses and homes, it's pretty hard to calculate. But, for a condo, for like a 1-bedroom, a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom condo, when you look at the HOA fee, how do you know if it's low or high?
Yeah, I mean, that depends on the area. It depends on the age of the condo. When we were looking earlier in, let's say 2005, a 1-bedroom, 1-bath would be about $325 a month. Now that 1-bedroom, 1-bath is $550. If you look at 2 bedrooms, it was $550 for a 2-bedroom. Now it's in the 800s. So they've increased over the last 15 years a lot. So it's hard to say, what they should be, but you have to keep in mind that you have a staff to hire. There's concierge. If you've got the concierge, you've got a pool, you've got a gym, you've got a lot of liability insurance, you've got common grounds. There's so many things to pay for. And so naturally, the more amenities you have, the higher that fee is going to be, the higher the insurance is going to be. Not only that, insurance companies then say, hey, there was a new insurance. We talked about it a couple weeks ago about insurance companies adding in an inflation coverage, and it's like the costs keep going up. These insurance companies keep telling you need this and you need this. Lenders then look at that and say, hey, in order to lend in the building, you need this, this, and this. So naturally your costs are going to go up. So I wouldn't be afraid of a high condo fee. I would be afraid of it that you can't afford it, but I wouldn't be afraid of it if the budget is well run and you've got a good stockpile of cash in those reserve accounts. And you look at your reserve studies. There's reserve studies that these condos and HOAs have to do. And so it's important to look at those. And a lot of people, when I bought a condo, I was like, I ain't reading all this stuff. This is crazy. And do you know what to look for? I do now after 21 years in the business, but most homeowners don't,
Yeah. All right, Shawn, well, that's just going to about finish it up for this topic. Do you have anything else? You mentioned something about a contract, something getting under your nerves.
Things that drive me crazy.
Things that drive Shawn crazy. What do you got?
Yeah, our contract, every contract is different in different states and different jurisdictions. But the one thing that drives me crazy about our contract is the finance contingency. There's two ways of writing the finance contingency. It's, one is, 15 days. You have a finance contingency for 15 days, but if we don't remove that financing contingency, it just keeps going until we remove it. And our only option as a seller is to send a document over that says, you have 3 days to remove this contingency or the contract is void. Like, why would I ever want to void a contract? It's the worst language. Please change it. There should be language in there that says, if we do this way, then you have to put up a deposit. If you don't remove it by this amount or this time frame, a portion of that deposit is gone or, is in limbo. There has to be something for the seller to grab onto, because right now, finance contingency, there's zero. There's a second way of writing the finance contingency, which is a drop dead date. At that date, your finance contingency is gone. But most people, when there's no competition, are going to write their contingency with a non-drop dead date that just continues to protect them until the settlement date, which is like, all right, well, what is the recourse for my seller? There is no recourse. The only recourse is for me to send a document that says you have 3 days or this contract is void. Who wants to void the contract? No one. We just want protection. So please, people in the future that are writing our contract, really look into this. Call me. Let's talk. Let's discuss, right? Call us. Talk to agents to see what the frustration is on the listing side, because we need recourse. We need buyer or sellers to say, hey, if you're not going to settle on this, then I'm taking $5,000 or I'm taking $10,000 or whatever it is, because this is time out of the market that we are risking.
So you would like some sort of monetary penalty or
penalty, or a solution that says that this is dropping dead at 21 days. If you don't have it, then it drops dead, and 50% of your deposit is now at risk. Something like that. Something simple that says that, hey, you told me it was going to be ready in 14 days. It's not. Well, now my only recourse is to send you this document that says you can void. Like, no. You should say you have 3 days or else your finance contingency is gone, or you have 3 days or you're risking $10,000. That's the way it should read.
All right. Well, Shawn, the NVAR Standard Forms Committee is always looking for members. So
no thanks.
Well, I mean, if you're asking,
I'll talk.
If you're asking for change,
True.
you can reach out to the NVAR Forms Committee, and they look at these things every single year.
Yeah, truth. You know what? I will send them an email. How's that? Call them. I'll at least discuss.
Can you CC or BCC me on that email?
Sure, I will do that.
I want to see when
I might have AI write it.
You might have AI, yeah. Oh man, comes full circle.
Yep.
All right, well, that's just gonna about wrap up another episode of the Shawn and Matt Show. If you like this conversation, be sure to hit the thumbs up button, comment down below, subscribe if you haven't already. And for Shawn and myself, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, we'll see you then.
Take care.